What's up? This is Aaron from Slab Stocks. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show, and there is no offseason.
Hey guys, this is Jay with Wild Card. You're listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show. There is no offseason.
What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show. Don't forget to get a free 30-day trial at NoOffSeason.com today to help you make money flipping sports cards, build your sports card investment portfolio, get unlimited advice from our experts, and take sports card school to navigate the hobby. That's NoOffSeason.com. Get your free 30-day trial today. All the data we use on the Sports Card Strategy Show is from MarketMoversApp.com. Use code NOOFFSEASON at MarketMoversApp.com to get 20% off for life after a free 14-day trial. All right, let's get to the Sports Card Strategy. Yes. I am Paul Hickey from NoOffSeason.com. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show. You are all my beautiful audience, the NoOffSeason.com family. Welcome in. We are here to help you make money flipping sports cards. It is Monday, September 16th. This is the big show, the big Sports Card Strategy Show. Today, we're going to talk about top sports card opportunities to buy raw and grade, and we're going to do something special. We're going to compare Topps Chrome versus Prizm, and I can't wait. I can't wait to do this because ever since Topps Composite Football came out and Topps Chrome Basketball came out, there's been a lot of buzz about what cards are going to be the cards to last the longest. Will it be Prizm? Will it be Topps Chrome? And we're going to compare the initial data on the raw to grade. We're not going to be able to say which one is going to stand the test of time. I've got a hot take on that. But what we're going to do is we're going to say which ones are the best opportunities now between Topps Chrome and Prizm base cards. So I can't wait to get into that with you. We're also going to talk about panic selling in NFL land. Like, do we panic sell guys like Tua, Bryce Young? Are we at the point where we're panic selling even Will Levis and Anthony Richardson after each of them opened up the season 0-2 along with Bryce Young? We'll talk about some sell alert previews. We'll look at some data. You can text sports cards to 1-833-992-5727 if you want to sign up for our sell alerts. They get sent directly to your mobile device. So we'll do a sell alert preview later on in the week. Who are we going to be including in that article that we're going to text directly to those of you who have texted sports cards to 1-833-992-5727. And there's going to be more. We'll talk about more throughout the episode, and we'll give some of you in the live chat a shout out. Hello to all of you listening on Apple and Spotify, youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Please drop a comment below. We will reply. All right, everybody. Are you ready to start grading your cards? CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards. From their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing, CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today. We'll have some NoOffSeason.com news later on in the show about REPACK number 2 dropping, but without further ado, let's get into the big-time content on today's show. So I'd like to talk first of all about Tua Tagovailoa. As we all know, he's had concussion issues in the past, and there was a lot of chatter starting on Friday morning after Thursday Night Football's abomination of a performance in general, just horrible performance by Tua in general. And then on one of the last plays of the game, he gets concussed again and goes down. And now there's all this chatter from the peanut gallery about will he retire. He's since come out and said that he has no plans to retire and that he's going to go see a concussion specialist and that he will come back as soon as he's cleared by those concussion specialists. Of course, he's basically, I think, the second highest paid and second highest guaranteed paid player in the NFL right now behind Jordan Love. I think one's number 1 and one's number 2. It doesn't really matter. They're both super close. on that. So they're both injured right now. So, I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if we don't see Tua back this season. I really, really would. I mean, I'm not downplaying the concussion issues, but I'm not here to do that either. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. I'm probably like you, and I see Jim McMahon struggling to get through life minute by minute, and that sucks. And I don't want that for any other human being more than any of you guys do. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I would be shocked. I would be shocked and amazed if we don't see Tua back on the field sometime in 2024, potentially even much sooner than many of us who saw Thursday night's game would expect. So we have a lot of ancillary media attention on Tua right now. We've got people like literally my mother-in-law knows about Tua, and she knows nothing about sports. She's one of the best human beings I know, so no disrespect, but she knows nothing about sports, and she knows about Tua. She asked me at dinner on Saturday night, family dinner on Saturday night. She asked me about Tua, and she knew his name. And to be honest with you guys, that might not be a bad thing for his card value. Now, has it taken a turn for the worse initially after 2 games in the NFL season? Sure. It has not done what we thought it was going to do based on his performance, particularly in week 2, and then, of course, the concussion. So basically what we saw is we saw auctions ending yesterday, Sunday, September 15th. And when you look at the auctions that ended yesterday, or even Saturday the 14th, that's where his cards are down. So that's to be expected. And does that suck if you're holding any of these cards? Yes. Does it mean that technically the value of these cards has tanked a little bit? Yes. But does it mean that we should panic sell Tua? I'm going to go through the data and then you'll hear my analysis on it. And I want to know in the comments below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey, panic sell Tua, yes or no? What are you doing? Just straight up, what are you doing? Yes or no? Panic sell Tua. If you have other questions and stuff like that, great. Go ahead and ask them. I'll do my best to answer. And of course, you can go to nooffseason.com/ask and become a 30-day trial member for free. And I'll answer them on the premium pod. But, you know, one of the cards that I own is the 2020 Optic Holo PSA 10. You know, I'm probably $170 into that card. It was about $150 card going into week 2. So I didn't feel horrible about it. I was only down maybe $20, expecting to see that card bounce back. Now, an auction scheduled to end yesterday ended at $85.75. Does that mean that that card currently is only worth $85.75? Unfortunately, yes. However, let's put it in context, okay? Because that auction started after week 1 when Tua's market was kind of still holding steady. We hadn't seen really one way or another how his card prices were going to rise. I mean, he had a relatively good week 1. He played well. He hit Tyreek Hill for a big touchdown. So he was on the way to a big matchup in week 2 against Buffalo on Thursday Night Football at home, nonetheless. All signs pointed up to Tua's value. So I would say, does it suck? Complete ASS. Is it total buns that Tua's value has now tanked due to the result of Thursday night's game? Yes, of course. Does that happen during football season when we least expect it? Every single week it happens, guys. Every single week it happens. That's why we talk about the risk behind holding football cards into the season. You're holding for a performance spike. You didn't sell in August. You wanted to roll the dice and see what the cards would do. That's fine. You took the risk. And if you're holding Tua, it sucks right now. But I'm here to tell you, just because some auctions ended on a Sunday when he had a bad game and got injured on a Thursday, I don't believe that's a reason to panic sell. Now, if we go up a little bit on the chart, because we're looking at market movers, marketmoversapp.com, you can get 20% off for life if you use the promo code NOOFFSEASON. You see his Optic Base PSA 10, another super liquid card. It's only down $15. That's nothing to panic about. His 2020 Prizm Base PSA 10 is only down $15. That's nothing to panic about. Then you keep going, and the card that we had in our formula-based rankings as one of the top to buy pretty much all offseason has held steady. It's the 2020 Mosaic NFL debut PSA 10. It sold yesterday for $25. It sold 8 times yesterday for an average of $25. So it's not just an anomaly sale, right? So should you panic sell Tua? I mean, I would say that it depends on what card we're talking about and what you bought into that card for. But I would say no. I don't think we're at a panic sell. He's still a top 2 guaranteed highest paid player in the NFL. He has said he's going to come back. He's going to see doctors. Yes, concussions are big deals, but we know that they're more of a big deal later on in life than they are currently. They don't typically affect player performance in the short term, as after the player passes the protocol, they don't. So I would fully expect to see. Now, this is me not showing any sympathy or empathy for Tua Tagovailoa as a human being, and I realize that when I'm talking about this, but I'm talking about the football card market. I don't think Thursday night was that big of a deal for his football card value based on this initial data. I don't think it was. I think he's going to come back, and I think as soon as he comes back and has a good game, his cards, like they do every other week for every other player in any situation, will bounce back. His 2020 Mosaic base PSA 10 closed on Friday the 13th, up $9. Up $9. So I'm not making this up. This isn't a hot take. This is real. This is real data. So let me know what you think. Panic sell Tua? Let me know what you think in the comments below. We'll be right back with some more data, but I do want to say hello to everybody in the live chat. Terry Anderson in the house. George Schurer, Field Cards, what's up? Says rough weekend for some big players. Absolutely. And Field Cards, I love you, man. But I will say this. That's the case every weekend. That's pretty much the case every weekend if you think about it. Initially, at the beginning of every NFL season, at the beginning of every college season, it's going to be a rough weekend for some big players every week. It's just the nature of football. RL in the house. Arrowwood's Hobby Shop, what's up? Shane Graham, good to see Shane Graham. Sports Stuff 24/7. What's up, everybody? I'm going to go over to who has joined us on IG. Cards Co., The Real George 79, Anchor State Cards, D-Rock Jag, Sports Cards 1, Sacramento Card Show, Adrian Charlie, Chase Strump, Robert, RM Cards and More, Gavin Stitt, Brax Oliver, Less Money Cards, Emo Cards 99, Matt in the Hat 1996, Mike Bold T, D-Rock Jag says, don't sell. Look at Sidney Crosby, concussion issues during part of his career. He came back and won multiple championships and still one of the best of all time. Mass matchmaker in the house as well. Good point by D-Rock Jag. I think we're saying the same things. Absolutely. I mean, there's precedent for this. I'm not worried. I mean, am I frustrated? Am I a little bit disappointed? Am I, would I have loved a win on all of this stuff? Yes, but I mean, you can't buy several NFL players, hold them into the season, and expect wins on all of them. So we'll continue to go through some data. Miles in the house. What's up, Miles? Miles has a question. Miles, best way to get your question answered, honestly. Well, stay tuned because you're asking about Will Levis, and we're about to get to him. So stay tuned. But also, just in general, go to nooffseason.com/ask, get a free 30-day trial, and get unlimited advice from me. I answer on the premium pod every Friday. So I take a little bit more time, do a little bit more research and analysis than just shooting from the hip here on the Sports Card Strategy Show. So yes, I'm trying to sell you something. Of course, I'm trying to sell you something, but I'm also for real. Like I definitely do a lot of research and do more analysis on the premium pod than if you just ask questions during the Sports Card Strategy Show. But it's fine. We love you. Keep the questions coming. Justin Herbert is a guy that I just want to take a look at real quick because not that any of us would panic sell a QB who, I mean, generally is having a pretty good season. The Chargers are 2-0. And we think that there's probably better things for Herbert, but I believe he did suffer some sort of an injury towards the end of that game. And I'm actually going to look it up right now just to make sure that I'm talking about the most recent information that you all have. It says injures leg, limping after Chargers win. And, we'll see if there's any other update here. Reporters will know more about the severity of the injury in the coming days. He's going to have an MRI. So, I mean, that could be bad. That could be bad. I'm not saying that it potentially won't be bad. But if we look at Justin Herbert's, first of all, we look at Jordan Love's market. It's not down. It's not down at all. In fact, it's up a little bit and he's not even playing. Justin Herbert's market's up. So, I mean, I'll say this. I always say it depends on the card and it depends what you bought the card for. And if then you agree with me. You agree with me on that. It's not me trying to, not give you my opinion on things. It's me just giving you real talk. Should you sell Justin Herbert comes down to what card are we talking about? How much did you pay for that card? How much is that card worth right now? So if you have, if you're an owner of his 2020 Prizm Green PSA 10, and that's up 39%, you're up $74 from 2 weeks ago. And you might be worried about the Chargers, and you might be worried about Justin Herbert's potential, the severity of his injury. Maybe you do panic sell. But I'm saying if you own his 2020 Prizm base PSA 10, which is held steady for the last 2 weeks at about $87, or his Prizm Silver, 2020 Prizm Silver PSA 10, which is up actually, but still kind of holding steady. It's not up a lot. It's up like $18. It's at $1,000 over the last couple of weeks. Or if you own his Optic Hollow, his 2020 Optic Hollow PSA 10, which is a more likelihood that you're that person because there's 2,500 of those as opposed to like 200 of the cards that I just mentioned. You're only down $9. It's at $270. It was at $3 and $320 during the offseason, so you're down a little bit. I don't think you sell Justin Herbert's 2020 Optic Hollow PSA 10. I really don't. And if you have Justin Herbert cards that you're looking to buy raw and grade, I don't think that you change your strategy. Because you want to make money flipping sports cards. And I think the way to make money flipping sports cards, we've proven it time and time and time again, is to go where they ain't. And to be patient. To be patient, wait for selling markers, wait for performance spikes. The Chargers are 2-0. Herbert hasn't started the year great in the stat column, but he's playing against real defenses for the first time in a new offense. So if he can stay healthy, if this isn't a serious injury, even if he misses a few weeks recuperating from it, or even if he comes back quickly and doesn't play very well, I still think we're going to see a solid Justin Herbert performance later on. All it takes is one. All it takes is one. We know that. It takes one solid performance for these players' cards to go back up. So I don't think you panic sell Tua or Justin Herbert. And oh, by the way, Joe Burrow, when we look at Joe Burrow's market, it's back. It's already bounced back from last week, even though the Bengals lost a heartbreaking game by 1 point to the Chiefs. If you look at the Prizm, the 2020 Prizm PSA 10, base PSA 10 that we looked at last week that was down, it's back. It's already back to like $120. So, I'm not worried about these guys, the Tuas, the Justin Herberts, and the Joe Burrows of the world. I'm just not worried about them. And I know you can say, well, Paul, Tua, might never get back on the field again. Justin Herbert might have had a serious knee injury yesterday. I get it. I got it. But it's happened before with Tua. It's already happened with Tua. And it's happened with Joe Burrow. I mean, he's missed most of his rookie season with a torn ACL. He had injuries last year, and Justin Herbert is the same draft class, same kind of hype situation. So even if Justin Herbert, I hope this doesn't happen, but even if Justin Herbert has really bad results from his MRI, I still think he's okay from a sports card value standpoint. I don't think you panic sell. So now, from a panic sell standpoint, I guess there's a few more guys that we need to talk about, and one of them, Miles, asked about in the live chat. What do I do with Will Levis? So let's just go ahead and skip to Levis, and I want to talk about Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young. So Will Levis, when you look at his market, and I've gone into Market Movers, and I've basically narrowed it down a bit to his Prizm Silver PSA 10, and we can expand it here in a second. But Will Levis's Prizm Silver PSA 10, I think, was the card that I talked most about heading into the season, a card that I own 2 or 3 of right now. It's down significantly. So it's down over the last 14 days. It's down $126. It's basically cut in half due to Will Levis's poor start to the season. So it's $133. Auctions ending yesterday. Again, I think that there's important context around that. And let me know what you think in the comments, right? I mean, Chad Dyer, Johnny Cashville. Let me know what you guys think. You guys are intelligent sports card flippers, and you're in the house here in the live chat. So let me know if you think I'm off here. But I think when you have auctions ending on a Sunday, and the assumption of that person who listed the auction is that that player is going to have a good game, when it goes in the opposite direction, you see the results of this Will Levis card, 2023 Prizm Silver PSA 10, going down, cut in half, basically going down 50%. And if this would have been listed at a buy it now or best offer, I don't know that the offers would have been half. I mean, maybe, I guess you don't know, but I don't, or if this card would have been listed, say, later on this week, this upcoming Sunday, after Will Levis throws a touchdown pass in the first quarter, I think you potentially have a completely different result to those auctions. So while the card is valued at 50% of what it was valued at 14 days ago because of this comp, $133, I don't think you panic sell Will Levis. I don't think there's any reason, unless I'm totally missing something in the news cycle. I don't think there's any reason to panic sell Will Levis. I mean, he's had 2 really bad games, and Brian Callahan has really no other option. So, he's gonna get another chance. And so, I know Brian Callahan's pissed at him right now. I know any of you who bought his cards are probably pissed at him right now. I say you hold. I think all it takes is one good game. All it takes is one good game. And, the Titans play the Packers at home, and that's not going to be an easy game, but they do play their former draft pick, Malik Willis, will likely come into Nashville and start against them. So we'll see. I mean, maybe they surprise people and Will Levis puts up a solid game. And if and when that happens, and they're probably gonna face Skylar Thompson the week after that at Miami. So all it takes is one good game for Will Levis's value to go back up. So I would want to be holding that card rather than selling it. Now back to Anthony Richardson. So Anthony Richardson, Prizm Silver 2023 PSA 10. It's up. So even though he's 0-2, he stayed healthy, and it's all about hope. It's all about hope. It's all about hype. It's all about potential. So Levis, it's dwindling with Levis because of how poor he's looked in the last 2 weeks, and he doesn't have the draft capital of AR. But you've got less invested in Levis. Levis was more of a flyer. And so you have to contextualize your investments here. Levis was more of a flyer, so you didn't have to spend as much on Levis. So just hold him. Just hold him. Like it'll be fine. He'll have a good game. His prices will bounce back, and then at least you can get out of it at the very, very least what you put into it, I should think. Unless you drastically overpaid or bought at the wrong time or bought the wrong card. If you listen to us, you probably didn't. So you're probably in good shape. And then AR, like I bought 4 of his 2023 Prizm Silver PSA 10s. Am I rooting like heck for him to do well and for those cards to go up? Yeah, but they actually have gone up. I'm actually up $40 and in some cases $90 from where I bought that card. I think I'm up $90 per card. $490 is what AR's 2023 Prizm Silver PSA 10 ended at yesterday. So, it all depends. It all depends on the situation. You might be down on some of these guys. You might actually be up on some of these guys, even though they haven't played well. I said I would expand Levis's chart. So, let's go ahead and do that. So expanding Levis's chart back to more cards. You just saw on my screen, most of AR's cards are up. There's a lot of Will Levis. There's probably 10 Will Levis cards that are still up right now. There's a lot of most of Will Levis's cards haven't even moved. And the ones that have moved, other than the Prizm Silver, which sucks, haven't really moved. You're not really in rough shape based on the data. You might be down $50. If you have a bigger card, like the Micro Mosaic PSA 10, but only 115 of you could possibly have that card, then you're down $142. If you have the Prizm Silver, you're down $128. Most other Will Levis cards are not down. So I don't know why you would, I don't know. They're not down a lot. There's nothing wrong with Will Levis physically. So I would just hope for another week. Bryce Young, his Prizm Silver PSA 10 is down not as much as Will Levis is. It's down $63. So they were about the same price point before the season started. And now Will Levis's Prizm Silver PSA 10 has gotten down 50%. Bryce Young's only down 29%. And that sold Saturday for $158. So it doesn't take into account any auctions that ended yesterday. It doesn't seem like there were any that have been paid for. So, but he looked really bad. He looked like dog water in week 1, to steal Carter the Powers phrase from Football Card Quest. Now, so you definitely don't panic sell anyone that I've talked about so far. However, I wouldn't blame you if you just got rid of all your Bryce Young shares. He has shown nothing in almost 20 NFL games now. I know it hasn't been like literally 20, but like almost 20 NFL games. He hasn't shown anything. And if we expand from beyond just this Prizm Silver, I think it might not be a bad idea to sell all your Bryce Young shares before you potentially get absolutely like Trey Lance crushed. Like it could be a Trey Lance situation. Some of Bryce Young's cards are up. And a lot of them have stayed even. And he's following a similar pattern, like Optic Hollow PSA 10, only down $19. Prizm Silver PSA 10 down $97.50 over the last 7 days. So, I think like it's always going to depend on your situation. Out of all the guys that I just mentioned, Tua, Herbert, Burrow, getting off to slow-ish starts. Even CJ Stroud's gotten off to slowish starts. The Texans are 2-0 and he's still CJ Stroud, but it's not like he's lit the world on fire. We're going to get to who has lit the world on fire here in a second. And And then AR, Levis, and Bryce Young. I think the only guy that I'm potentially even thinking about cutting bait on is Bryce Young. I really do. Matt S., what's up? Matt S. in the house. Johnny Cashville says he's selling all of his Will Levis cards. Emo cards in the house. Degenerate card collector in the house. Chad Dyer says, I'm not panicking. I'll hold Herbie. Chad also says, I think we know what we have in Levis. He's a placeholder. I'm a Vikings fan. I know how to spot a placeholder. Fair enough. So again, it depends on your situation. I might cut bait on Young. I might hold a couple more weeks on Bryce though, just to see what he does. Because at this point, you just got to see how bad is it going to get. Because the reason I say that is because it's already bad, but his cards haven't tanked. They haven't like totally tanked. They play at the Raiders this Sunday. They play at home against the Bengals the following week, and then they play at the Bears on October 6th and home against the Falcons on October 13th. So then they play the Commanders and the Broncos away. I don't know. I mean, I knew what I was getting myself into with Levis and Young, and I thought that they were priced low. I was willing to take a risk. I hope you guys were too. And I think that they're going to bounce back. But if any of them, and I'm an optimist, so you can troll me, you can say what you will if you disagree. But I think overall, there's no reason to truly panic on these guys. But I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to just kind of start to get rid of some of your shares of Levis and Young, because I just don't see it with those guys. But I think with AR and with the 2020 QBs we talked about, I would hold. I think there's going to be some big performances from them, barring injury, of course. And even with injury, like I said, people bounce back. Let's do a sell alert preview, because I said a minute ago that I would talk about who's hot right now. Starting with Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, running backs don't do this very often. And when they do, especially when they're from 2017, even if their prices aren't up a ton, I think it's a great opportunity to sell, because even if their prices aren't up a ton, you never know what the next auction could bring, right? You never know. All it takes is an auction to get hot, or a buy it now or best offer to get one offer that puts you in a position where you're profiting. So if you're holding Alvin Kamara's 2017 Optic Hollow Red and Yellow, his 2017 Prizm Silver, really in any grades, or I would say any other variation of those two cards, the Optic or the Prizm, it's probably a good time to go ahead and take a look at listing him. Just because of his massive performance. And Saints, I mean, the Saints could be for real, but who knows? I'm not playing that game. I'm playing the game of let's sell on a performance spike just based on historical data. Malik Willis, another guy, I plays for a phenomenal franchise right now, eked out a win against the Colts at home. And it was, I won't call it a last second win, because even though technically it was, because of the Hail Mary pass at the end from AR, but Malik Willis he's 1-0 as a starter. I don't think that he's anything other than just playing in quicksand as a backup. So his 2022 Prizm base PSA 10's up $12. That's 231%. His Optic rookie autograph hollow out of 125 PSA 10's up $25. His Prizm Silver PSA 10 from 2022 is up $16. His color, like short prints, like the Color Blast, the Downtown, Black Pandora out of 25. I mean, like Malik Willis is just not going to move very often. Same thing with Kamara. So I would just move. I would move even if it's not like up. I would move it. I would just take the opportunity to move it. And honestly, same thing with Derek Carr. We talked about the Saints a second ago with Kamara. I would take the opportunity to move Derek Carr cards. They're from 2014. He was almost irrelevant like 3 weeks ago. And now a lot of his cards are up 50% or more. Topps Chrome Refractor 2014, Topps Chrome Base 2014, in all grades, they're all up. So he also has a 2014 Prizm. I mean, again, could he be for real? Sure. But why wouldn't you take advantage of a really, really hot start? Who else is hot? Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray. How about the perfect QB rating yesterday? And now we're in a situation where you could really capitalize on some of your Kyler Murray investments from the offseason. You know, we talked about him. He wasn't one of the guys that we shouted from the rooftops about consistently, but we did talk Kyler. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. 2019 Optic Base PSA 10 up $37, up 88%. 2019 Prizm Red, White, and Blue PSA 10 up $29, up 27%. Prizm Silver 2019 PSA 10 up $78, up 24%. Not a bad time to look to move Kyler, honestly. Marvin Harrison Jr., his top target yesterday. I mean, what a game by Trey McBride, too. Trey McBride, man, I tried to trade for him in fantasy so many times, and the dynasty owner in my league would not move him. And I don't blame him. But Marvin Harrison Jr., big 4-catch, 130-yard, 2 TD performance, targeted a couple more times in the end zone, couldn't haul it in, almost had 4 TDs yesterday. They're feeding Maserati Marv in AZ, and they will continue to. But depending on where you are, I mean, his 2023 Bowman Chrome U Sapphire Edition base first raw, guys, is up $28. That's a huge win. That's 651%. His Bowman Chrome University First Prospects PSA 9 is up $21. I have listed my autos. I have 2 Marvin Harrison Jr. 2023 Bowman Chrome University First Prospect Auto PSA 10s, and I have listed them. Because you just, with skill position players, he could be very good, but he might not have another game like that for a while, and you just want to take advantage of the performance spike. That's the game we're playing. Same with Malik Nabers. Look at Malik Nabers. I got him on my fantasy team. He had a big week. I'm pumped about him. But, I mean, if you're holding 2023 Bowman Chrome University First Prospect Auto Green Refractors out of 99 raw, you're up $100 right now. Like that's what we're talking about. A lot of Malik Nabers cards up right now. So one more guy. Now I will take credit for this because I was one of the first in the hobby, if not the first in the hobby, to not only talk about this young man, but also buy into this young man and recommend that all of you buy into this young man too. And I'm telling you now is probably a great time to sell him if you bought in when I told you to buy in. And if you've already sold him, you've still probably made a lot of money. And even if you want to buy in now, you probably could still make money. I mean, Arch Manning, I flag planted on Arch Manning. Now you're in a situation where a lot of you who listen to me are making quite a bit of money now after he came in for Quinn Ewers and looked very, very good. His 2023 Prizm Draft Pick Saturday Star Signatures Raw, which was a card that I bought on the Sports Card Strategy Show, talk to all of you about buying. That's up $70. Now, many of you will say, shouldn't we hold that? Maybe. It's up to you. It depends how many you bought. It depends what your profit goals are. You're up $70. You could make some money right now. So, I mean, I think Arch Manning is another good sell high candidate. But he's also a solid hold, I would think, because there's going to continue to be Arch Manning hype. So you're welcome, everybody, for the Arch Manning call. All right, before we get into our top sports card opportunities to buy raw and grade, where we will compare one top player in each of the top 2 sports in the hobby. I'll probably piss off some baseball fans by saying that because we're going to go to basketball and football here. But Topps Chrome versus Prizm, we can't really do for baseball, so that's why. So don't get too mad, baseball people. But before we get to that, let's talk about Kumar Rocker. Kumar Rocker was a guy that Lefty and I talked about, not only on the Sports Card Strategy Show, but Lefty talked a lot about on Lefty Cards. So props to Kendall for bringing up Kumar Rocker a couple of months ago. And if you listen to Kendall and you made the Kumar Rocker play, you're making a lot of money right now, because Kumar Rocker, a lot of his cards are up after his call up, and he's it's a good time to potentially liquidate. It's a good time to potentially liquidate the pitcher and then maybe buy back in the offseason and see how he does at the start of March. So I think you can make money on Kumar Rocker a couple times. I think right now is the time to cash in. His Bowman Chrome draft auto from 2022, first prospect auto, is up 104%. That's up $36. So it's like you bought it for 35. Now it's at 72. You're making some profit on that. So Kumar Rocker, props to Lefty. Good work there. And we're making money. We're making money flipping sports cards, everybody. Koa's in the house. Sean Red 5 Cards is in the house. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining in the live chat. For those of you on Apple and Spotify, don't feel left out. Don't feel left out. You can always DM me at Sports Card Strategy to get in the mix directly with me. Or just drop a comment below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey, and I reply to all comments. Dakota Deck Draws and my guy Ryan Painter's in the house. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. Dakota Deck Draws, I'll answer real quick. What do you think about Josh Jacobs? I'll say what I think about Josh Jacobs is about the same that I think of everyone who has had a good start to their season right now. It depends on the card. It depends on the card. It depends on the card. It depends how much you paid for the card. And it depends how much you can sell that card for right now and what your profit goal is. So that's why I highly recommend everybody ask their questions with all the specifics in the world at nooffseason.com/ask. Ask anybody who's been a premium member at nooffseason.com, and they'll tell you it's at least worth the free 30-day trial and asking the question that way so that you can get the answer on the premium pod. All right, everybody. It's time to get into Topps Chrome versus Prizm. I think this is a big topic that not enough people are talking about in the hobby the right way, right? A lot of people will just get into some fodder, some chatter about like, well, which one's better, Topps Chrome or Prizm? Which one do you think is better? Which design do you like better? I don't care what you like better. I care what sells better. I care what can make you more money. And so that's what I'm about to talk about here. We're about to compare Victor Wembanyama Prizm versus Victor Wembanyama Topps Chrome. And then we're going to compare CJ Stroud Prizm versus CJ Stroud Topps Chrome from a raw to grade standpoint so that you can pick the one with the top ROI right now for you. And then we'll talk about some other Victor Wembanyama and CJ Stroud cards that make sense to buy raw and grade. All right, so let's start with the Wemby 2023 Prizm Base 136 versus the Wemby 2023 Topps Chrome #1 base card. Okay, so interestingly enough, they both cost around $21 to buy raw right now, based on the last comp. That's interesting. So they're equal from a raw standpoint. Okay. Now, from a PSA 10 standpoint right now, the Topps Chrome base sells for about $150. And the Prizm base PSA 10 sells for about $109. Here's where it gets even more interesting. The Prizm has a 63% gem rate, and the market has already settled on that. It is what it is. So it gives you a 33% ROI. So 33% ROI, and that's what you get. And I love it. I love that. Now, here's why I'm also buying Topps Chrome. Topps Chrome has a $150 upside in the PSA 10, which I mentioned, but it only has about a 39 to 40% gem rate right now. But there hasn't been that many graded, right? Because it's new. It's a new release. So you've got really the upside in the PSA 10 and the gem rate are a little bit hard to gauge. It does give you, the formula still gives you a 72% ROI for that Wemby Topps Chrome. Now, is that worth buying? Yes, because you're going to get a 72% ROI consistently if you're able to hit that $21 target cost. Now, pay for your tax and shipping. I say this all the time. People always ask, does that include tax and shipping? No, just pay for your tax and shipping because the formula accounts for that on the back end. So when I tell you it's a 72% ROI, it includes your fees are taken out of that on the back end. So here's the deal though. Because Topps Chrome just came out, I would expect to see the same pattern that happened with the Prizm card to also happen with the Topps Chrome, which means I think Raw will stay pretty steady. I think PSA 10 with the Topps Chrome will come down a little bit to be very, very close to the Prizm. Because remember, the Prizm was up around that $150, $200 range for a couple of months after it came out, right? So following the pattern that every other card in the world follows after it comes out and is on the market and the market settles and the pop count settles, that should happen with the Topps Chrome. And that 72% ROI should come down closer to the 33% ROI that the Prizm has. So the answer right now is that the formula likes the Topps Chrome base Wemby 2 times more than it likes the Prizm base Wemby. Action item for you is buy both. Buy both of them and grade at PSA. So that might be anticlimactic, but that's the way I like it. I don't like the drama. I don't like the opinions. I don't like the hot takes. I like the data that tells me what to buy and why to buy it. And you guys should too if you're listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show. So I like both of those cards. There you have it. Now, one card that actually is doing significantly better than both of those cards, which if you're a premium member at nooffseason.com, you already knew this late last week. And you probably already scooped a bunch of them up over the weekend. So that's another reason to be a premium member at nooffseason.com. His Contenders base Raw is the number one card to buy right now in the entire sports card market per the formula at nooffseason.com. Victor Wembanyama 2023 Contenders number 11 base is a $6 card. It's a $200 card in PSA 10. It has a 55% gem rate, which is insane for Contenders. It has a 251% ROI. A 251% ROI. So that is the top 3. Those are the top 3 Victor Wembanyama sports card opportunities to buy raw and grade right now. And you should do that. And the best way to do that is to go to nooffseason.com, join for free for 30 days, and you get quick links to those cards. Koa asks, is that the Mojo? No, it's not the Mojo. There was a picture of the Mojo on nooffseason.com. We have replaced it with the regular base card. That's the card. So the Mojo does well as well, but not as well from a raw to grade standpoint as the base. So definitely go get the base. Thanks for asking, Koa. And then before we go to football and CJ Stroud, the man drafted in front of him last year. Breaking news on the Sports Card Strategy Show. The man drafted before the man we're about to talk about has been benched. Bryce Young has been benched for Andy Dalton per Adam Schefter. Thanks to Shane Graham and Michael Stula in the live chat for bringing that to me. Bryce Young getting benched. So I just said a minute ago, maybe not a bad idea to get rid of some of your Bryce Young shares. I think, honestly, now, I would hold. I think, yeah, he's getting benched. But I think if you were to try and sell his card after this news now, it's going to be even worse for you. So it's just, it's a situation now where whatever you put into Bryce Young, you just have to hope for when he comes back, which he will. They're not going to, we saw with Baker Mayfield, right? We saw with Jared Goff. There's precedence in the hobby for a number 1 overall pick to get all the opportunities in the world to play. And so, I mean, we've seen it with much lesser quarterbacks getting all the opportunity in the world to play. Deshaun Watson's still playing, for crying out loud. So I think you hold Bryce Young now. Now you hold Bryce Young. I don't have any panic sells on this whole episode. All right. Top CJ Stroud, raw to grade opportunities coming up. Leading off with Topps Chrome, which is out of Composite, which is a weird ass thing. I'm sorry, but it is. It's just a weird thing. I think the Wemby Topps Chrome does well because it's actual Topps Chrome. And I think the CJ Stroud Topps Chrome Composite situation, which is basically like Chronicles, is an abomination. The fact that they put it in like a Chronicles type product is an abomination. And it's being proven by the value of this card. CJ Stroud 2024 Topps Chrome Composite Football base is selling for $5. $85 in PSA 10, 55% gem rate. Does give it a 106% ROI. So the formula does like it. Now the Prizm base is an $18 card right now with a $100 PSA 10 upside and a 44% gem rate. So currently that's a 16% ROI on CJ Stroud's Prizm base raw, which means even though this CJ Stroud 2024 Topps Chrome Composite Football is like this weird Chronicles unlicensed version, it is absolutely smashing CJ Stroud's Prizm base raw. I still like them both. But I gotta recommend that you go buy this CJ Stroud. This is where like my opinion doesn't matter. This is a perfect example of my opinion not mattering, right? Like my hot take, my whatever doesn't matter. It's the fact that the data doesn't lie, right? Now, sometimes the data is inaccurate and we got to clean it up a little bit because there's some chatter about some of the data that we've talked about today in the live chat. And I will address that here in a second related to Victor Wembanyama's contenders card that I mentioned earlier. There's a mojo and there's a base. The formula likes the base. People are saying that the mojo in PSA 10 sells for what I'm saying the base sells for. All right. There's a discrepancy there. We'll clear it up. But first, let's talk about CJ Stroud 2024 Topps Chrome Composite Football base. $5 raw to an $85 upside in PSA 10, 55% gem rate, 106% ROI. Much better ROI than the Prizm Silver. Do I think that the Prizm base, do I think the Prizm base could sell for about the same in PSA 10 as the composite football base does in the long run? Yeah, I do. I really do. But I think if you want to make a quick flip and you want to make a lot of money right now being first to the market with some of these PSA 10s for CJ Stroud, I think Topps Chrome Composite is a great place to go. I also think, based on what the formula tells me, that the CJ Stroud 2023 Select 41 Concourse Silver is a great place to go. $41 buy-in point, $150 upside in a PSA 10, 86% gem rate gives it an 80% ROI per the formula. So I'm pumped about that one. All right, now before we wrap up the show with some breaking news about nooffseason.com, which you're not going to want to miss, let's look at this Victor Wembanyama card that I have added to nooffseason.com, which I appreciate everyone helping me make sure is right. So here's the deal. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to fix this right now. But you see right here in Market Movers, it says 2023 Contenders Base Raw. There's a picture of the mojo, right? But it's that the picture is wrong. It's that the picture is wrong. So now if we go to PSA 10 of the base, it was selling. It did sell when we added this for 226, 170, 144, 201, 198. Like it sold for 201 on Friday. It sold for 198 on Saturday, and it sold for 148 yesterday. So, and then okay, here we go. When you look at it, this is what you guys are right. You guys are right. Thank you for correcting me. RL, Koa, all of you. Market Movers has this wrong because Market Movers, Mojo. It says base, but it really means Mojo. So maybe I just need to. I mean, is that the Mojo? All right. I'm doing it right. I'm doing this on the Sports Card Strategy Show. Let me just correct what I said. It's not base, it's Mojo. That's an easy correction. I'm going to update the website. Victor Wembanyama 2023 Contenders 11 Mojo is a $5 card. Sells for $200. I mean, last sale $150 in PSA 10, so we'll update that. So not quite a 251% ROI, but it's still going to be far over a 100% ROI. So thank you everybody for the correction. Victor Wembanyama 2023 Contenders 11 Mojo. Yeah, and like everybody's still saying, okay, RL probably still a great card for the buy and grade. But RL's saying Mojos go for 35 to 50. So this is just apparently a Market Movers flaw. Because Market Movers is saying that it sells for $5. It's probably that the Contenders base sells for $5. So it's pulling in the Contenders base raw data, but then it's pulling in the PSA 10 data. So if Mojos go for 35 to 50, I'm going to do this live on the show. So thanks for bearing with me, everybody. I want to be accurate, right? I want to be accurate, even if it makes the show a bit imperfect. So if the Mojo sells for 30 raw and 148 in PSA 10, it's a 39% ROI. So the Mojo is a 39% ROI. Now, the base, let's see if we can try to do the base as well. It's a little bit frustrating, obviously, because the base, we're going to assume sells for $5. And then I'm going to go to eBay and do this since Market Movers has this wrong right now. Victor Wembanyama, base 11 Contenders, PSA 10. Let's see if there's any sales. Yeah, it's showing Mojo. Here's one. Okay, so here's one that is listed for 55. Let's see if we can get a sale. So this obviously isn't going to be as good as what I thought. That's okay. There's not any sold listings showing on eBay yet. Here we go. Okay, so it's about a $40. There's a $90 sale. There's a $150 sale. Retail. I'm going to be very, very clear about this now. I'm going to call this Mojo Hobby, and I'm going to call this Retail Base. And I might contact Teapot about this. So this is a $5 card, $4 card raw. And there's a $150 sale. The most technically there's two more recent sales for $43. There's a sale for $90. They're all within the same period though. So I know we do last sale though. So let's just do last. Let's stay consistent. Let's not try to change anything that doesn't need to be changed here. And this is definitely going to make it worse than how I had it, but that's okay. Because I do not want to mislead you. 31% ROI. Okay, so here's what we got, guys. Victor Wembanyama, 2023 Contenders 11 Mojo Hobby. Should be a $30 buy-in point raw, $150 PSA 10 upside, 39% ROI. Victor Wembanyama, 2023 Contenders 11 retail base, $4 buy-in, $43 PSA 10, 31% ROI. So still very good, still worth talking about on today's show. Glad we corrected it. Glad we got it right. Sorry for any of the confusion. And thank you for helping me be accurate. And thank you to all of you for being a great community to make sure that we're all putting ourselves in the best possible position. There's obviously a lot going on. So teaming up to make it right is always a good thing. And I'll always admit when I was wrong. But I'll also defend myself too. So maybe I'll let Teapot know about this since he and I are good friends. And he does most of the time welcome my input on market movers. So I'll correct it on nooffseason.com as soon as this show ends. So for you premium members, you'll see it there and make sure we're getting you in the right spot. All right, one more thing I wanted to talk about on today's show, because for those of you who have listened for a while, you're familiar with Maddox Yost, m.pokeworld is part of the team here at nooffseason.com. He puts together the REPACK product. So we did drop number 1 of the REPACK product back in August, and I am happy to inform you all we have breaking news. REPACK drop 2 is available now at nooffseason.com. It is aptly named high ceiling, high floor because you are likely to win even if you don't get a hit, because the non-hits that are in this drop and every drop for high ceiling, high floor are cards that we anticipate to go up in value. Now, will you always get your money back? No, that's not how the numbers work with a REPACK. The numbers work with a REPACK where you're not really likely to get your money back right away. You could get it back over time, but you might not. So I don't want to mislead anybody. Well, here's what we're doing. It's $200 per REPACK, 1 card per pack, 40 total cards, so 40 total packs. The checklist has Victor Wembanyama PSA 10s, Devon Achan, RPAs out of 75, Giannis, lucky envelopes out of 8, Tua, Prizm Orange Laser PSA 10, Gabe Davis gold vinyl out of 5, Rashee Rice Contenders Optic Rookie Patch Auto out of 50, Josh Jacobs Illusions 1 of 1, James Harden Optic Dominators Auto out of 25, Jackson Smith and Jigba Prizm Purple Power Auto out of 49, 1996 Kobe Bryant Rookie PSA 9, Jordan Addison Mosaic Tessellations NFL Debut out of 15, Christian McCaffrey Donruss Rated Rookie PSA 10 Optic, AR Purple Prizm Pulsar PSA 9, Jordan Addison XRC PSA 10, Scoot Henderson Blue Fast Break out of 150 PSA 9, CJ Stroud Prizm Orange Laser PSA 9, Wemby Donruss Optic Hyper Pink PSA 9, Stephon Diggs Rookies and Stars 2015 RPA out of 25, AJ Brown Prizm Sensational Signatures Green Scope Auto out of 75, Adrian Peterson Donruss Optic Dynamic Patch Autos out of 25 SGC 9, Joey Porter Jr. Prizm Green Scope out of 75 PSA 10, Najee Harris National Treasures True Purple RPA out of 49, CJ Stroud Donruss Optic Pink PSA 9, Jackson Smith and Jigba Blue Ice out of 99 PSA 9, Keontae George out of 299 Rookie, Alperen Şengün Rookie Ink, Anthony Edwards Mosaic Pink Camo PSA 10, Anthony Richardson Optic My House Silver PSA 10, Will Levis Prizm Orange Laser PSA 10, Najee Harris National Treasures NFL Gear RPA out of 99, Tank Dell Prizm Variation PSA 10, CJ Stroud Donruss Optic Preview Red and Green PSA 9. Guys, haven't even got to the hits yet. We've got 8 hits. Those are the 32 non-hits. The 8 hits. Go to nooffseason.com/repack to see them. Guys, nooffseason.com/repack. Going fast. We're going to do the drop as soon as they're all sold out. Let's help make them sell out. Don't forget that we're doing card analysis and grading submissions now for premium members of nooffseason.com. There's a PSA special you want to take advantage of for MLB cards. Send them in to me. I will crack, prep, whatever you need, sleeve them up, send them to PSA, let you know what I think they're going to grade, and I'll get them back to you. I think the biggest advantage, other than the fact that I'm helping you prep them, is that you don't have a minimum if you submit them to me. So become a premium member today at nooffseason.com. Get a free 30-day trial and take advantage of that card analysis and grading service. $25 per card for premium members only. Includes the PSA grading fee. Everybody, thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. Are you panic selling? Are you buying any of those Wemby contenders confusion situations that we clarified? Are you buying the Wemby Topps Chrome base? The CJ Stroud Topps Chrome composite base? Drop a comment below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Everybody have a great day. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. To connect with us further, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Please also give us a follow on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy and on X at No Off Season Card. We also have a Discord that you could join at sportscardstrategy.com. Everyone, I'm Paul Hickey. For the rest of us here at nooffseason.com, have a great day. We'll see you again soon.